Good morning. Got a lot to do today, getting this video done early. Chapter 15 of John is one of the most eloquent chapters in the Bible, in the New Testament for sure. Jesus is telling the disciples, that I am the true vine, and if you are not attached to me, you won't bear fruit. And it's quite the way he says it. Gets his point across, right? Is staying connected with him, and he's going away, but but after a while he'll be back, and he talks about the disciples about how they're going to be hated because they hated him first, right? Man, I remember when I wasn't where I'm at now, but I was reading the scriptures and I knew who God was, and went out to the Indian Ocean to work as an anti-piracy security agent, and these other guys were a lot younger. I was like 50, and they started talking about their beliefs, and one was an atheist, one was an agnostic, and the one was like practicing his Native American faith. I'm like, yeah, you're young and figured out. I did not realize the attitude toward me because I was an open Christian and unapologetic, and then they hated me. Now my business partner that I had for like 4.5 years, he was a devout atheist, and the reason is because he had some bad experiences with some Catholic priests, and with his mom and his brothers, and then this one Catholic priest decided he was going to cop a feel on him bad. He was a big 12-year-old boy. He beat this priest down, right? And then so ever since then he's had this attitude, right? And that whole the concept that there's there's people that'll accept that there's some divine power, there's some energy around us that ties us all together, but that it has a personality or an attitude, or that it's an actual entity, that it is alive. That challenges a lot of people. Okay, that it's intelligent, and and then attaching it to this man, Jesus. All right, it's a challenge for people, and I'm going to tell you. And you see it when you read the Bible the way I've read it, and straight from Genesis. Now I'm chapter 16 of John. That's what I'm going over today. The Christ. See, there's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Moses, and the 10 Commandments. Okay, and all of that is got a taint of the personality and attitude of the prophets and Moses, which they were harsh, they were human, they were, when I started putting personalities of comedians to these characters. You know, Samuel. I'm like, if I could picture John Belushi going to Jesse trying to pick out his sons, and that ain't the one, you know. And then the when Saul didn't kill the king of the Philistines, he did. I mean, he just, he didn't play. Okay. And then Elijah, Don Rickles, Elijah, Gilbert Godfrey. I mean, those personalities fit those guys. Okay. Christ is a different story. Christ is, I mean, it's, he's about, he's getting ready to go up and go through his trial and the crucifixion. And then here Peter's like resisting him, washing his feet. He's just, he's like, it's not really being clean on the outside. It's what the issue. It's clean on the inside. And he deflects the Peter. He's like, "Whoa, I'm good on the inside, right?" And who's this? Who are you talking about, right? It's like this. It's like when a baby's crying, right? Yesterday, I was loading up a car. He was picking up for the food bank, and this little baby's crying. I stick my head in there, I just smile, and that little baby just stopped crying and had to smile right back at me. Same kind of thing. Okay, so that personality of Jesus being the face of God. That's what Christ is. Christ is communicating better than anybody else to this point the true intention of God. Okay. And that's what Jesus is all about. Okay, so anybody that's got this challenge, understand that with Christ there's that grace, there's that softness, that buffer that gives us time to figure it out. Okay, that gives us, you can see plain grace. It gives us the it's just like having raising a 2-year-old or training kids how to box. That's kind of, I can relate. I had one kid, Nathan, he was a little southpaw. His dad was a boxer too, and he dad into the patience for him. And the first day, I got him to throw his right jab, but the next day he never never knew he had, how to do anything at him or taught him anything. But I got him to throw his straight left hand. And next day, same thing. Would never know I taught him anything, but he got him to throw his right hook. He never did everything right at the same time in training. But when he went to fight and his dad was there watching, he beat a boy way more experienced than him. And that boy, he never got a glove laid on him. Right? He did everything he was supposed to. All of it in that pressure situation, it all came out, right? I was listening to Pastor Ortiz on Wednesday night, and he was talking about, he's trying to get this channel going on in Iowa, and all these pastors are telling him no, they didn't want to be on the broadcast. And God told him to point the camera into this soybean field. So he's in Iowa and starts broadcasting in the middle of a soybean field. I don't know what he said. I can just picture, here we are in Iowa. and in the middle of a soybean field, right? Preaching. Um, but and he starts, think everything he'd ever heard and said just started coming out of his mouth, in front of the camera in the middle of a soybean field, right? And it was his wife who had the degree in biblical studies, right? But and that happens. I remember being in Chile, and I was the only American with like 40 Chilean special operations guys who didn't speak any English, and all I knew how to say was como se dice and point at things. So we're in this schoolhouse. I'm getting just enough understanding. They want me to talk to them about the United States. So from memory, I drew on the chalkboard the whole United States, every state in its proper place. I didn't even know that I knew all that, and part of it I've been around. So there's only like 3 states I haven't been to. I haven't been in North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. I've been everywhere else. But so I just could draw, the states where I had been, and but everything we've ever said, read, done, saw, experienced is in here. Okay, and it's just waiting for us to pull it out. Okay, and you kind of got to get, So here I am. I've read this Bible, this whole Bible. I'm on my 13th time, and every time it's like brand new. That's kind of wild. I can't wait till it starts percolating, coming out of me, right? But there's some people there's some amazing people that tune in to these to my Facebook lives. Maybe not right when I'm doing them, but after 2 days, I got some amazing people that are watching me do this, and it's a humbling, But I'm like, oh man, how am I not bearing fruit, And that's what makes me go, door to door in the neighborhood and far, and that makes me do these. We are called to bring him in, right? That's one of the things I love about Jason Cisneros and his Misfit Nation. I'm reading the book of Mark, and what, and Matthew, and it's over and over and over again. The king has a feast, and he invites all these people, and these high level, aristocrats, and they don't come. So he's like, go out in the street and fill my house, right? Jesus was, tax collectors and people prostitutes and people that that were thrown away, outcast by everybody else, people that were too good. That whole the parable about the Good Samaritan. That's what that's about. Who's your brother, right? The priest walked by this guy. He got mugged and beat up and lay alongside the road, and these do-gooders just go to the other side of the street, and this Samaritan, this one who's looked down upon by everybody else because he's a Samaritan. He helps the guy, okay, and who's your brother? It's the one that has mercy. I mean, understand. That's what Jesus brings. Jesus is the mercy of God. Okay, Jesus is the grace of God. Okay, and so don't be afraid of him.